Your company's local environment consists of a single Active Directory Domain Services (ADDS) domain. You plan to offer your users single sign-on (SSO) access to Azure-hosted software as a service (SaaS) applications that use Azure Active Directory, Azure AD authentication. The tenant's current domain name is company.com.onmicrosoft.com. You need to configure Azure AD to use company.com, the organization's owned public domain name. What should you do? A. Add a company.com user principal name, UPN, suffix to the ADDS domain. B. Run Azure AD Connect from a domain member server and specify the custom installation option. C. Remove the company.com.onmicrosoft.com domain name from the Azure AD tenant. D. Add a DNS verification record at the domain registrar. The correct answer is option D. You manage an Azure Windows Server virtual machine (VM) that hosts several SQL Server databases. You need to configure backup and retention policies for the VM. The backup policy must include transaction log backups. What should you do? A. Configure point-in-time and long-term retention policies from the SQL Server's Azure Portal Blade. B. Configure a SQL Server in Azure VM backup policy from the Recovery Services Azure Portal Blade. C. Configure a continuous delivery deployment group from the virtual machine Azure Portal Blade. D. Configure a point-in-time snapshot from the disk's Azure Portal Blade. The correct answer is option B. You have an Azure web app named Web App. Users report that they often experience HTTP errors when they connect to Web App. You need to provide the developers of Web App with real-time access to the connection errors. The solution must provide all the connection error details. What should you do first? A. From Web App 1, enable web server logging. B. From Azure Monitor, create a workbook. C. From Azure Monitor, create a service health alert. D. From Web App 1, turn on application logging. The correct answer is option A. You have a recovery service vault that you use to test backups. The test backups contain two protected virtual machines. You need to delete the recovery services vault. What should you do first? A. From the recovery service vault, stop the backup of each backup item. B. From the recovery service vault, delete the backup data. C. Modify the disaster recovery properties of each virtual machine. D. Modify the locks of each virtual machine. The correct answer is option A. Explanation. You can't delete a recovery services vault if it is registered to a server and holds backup data. If you try to delete a